I'm about to narrate to you a story from about 20 years ago about a man not very famous named Kevin Hines. Kevin at the time was an ordinary 19-year-old boy. He had a loving family. He was pursuing a college degree. He was having a part-time job and he had a lot of dreams in his head and wanted to make it big in his life. Not very much unlike you and me, don't you think? But there was something amiss in Kevin's head. There was something that was holding him back. Kevin had demons and he was suffering from crippling depression. One fine sunny morning in a California day, Kevin decided he was going to end his life. He sat down with his parents normally and had breakfast. His mom had cooked him pancakes. Kevin always hated pancakes. His dad offered him a ride to college. On his way, while stepping out of the car, his dad just called him back and asked him, "Son, I want you to come back early to your house today because we are planning a family dinner." He looked back at his dad and in a very reassuring voice told him, "Don't worry about me, Dad. I'll be back home in time and we'll be having dinner." At that point of time, it was the first event when Kevin actually lied to his father. He had no intentions of returning back home. He skipped class and he took a bus to the iconic San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge. His intention was not to soak up the scenery. His intention was to jump off the structure. At the bus ride, Kevin was weeping incessantly. In fact, he made a pact with himself. If anybody would have come over to him and asked him, "Hey man, are you okay?" he would have opened up and would have said everything to that person and would have reached out for help. But unfortunately, that day, nobody went up to Kevin. As he arrived at his final destination, he stopped. He started walking around at the edge of the bridge, watching the other commuters, watching the other tourists, soaking up the sights. He was stalling. He was looking for a reason not to jump. He was looking for somebody to say, "Hey man, what are you doing on the edge?" Nobody did. And when he finally did feel a tap on his shoulder, to his absolute disgust, a tourist handed him a camera and said, "Can you take a picture of mine against this picturesque backdrop?" That was the moment when Kevin realized absolutely no one cared about him. That was the watershed moment. It was the point of no return. Kevin leapt off the guardrail and he plunged to his inevitable death. More than 300 million people worldwide suffer from depression. More than 10 million cases per year are registered in India for depression. And yet, there is so little that we understand about this disease. Yeah, I said disease because your mental health is just as important as your physical health. And what's even more disgusting is that there is stigma attached to a person who's suffering from depression. How do you reach out and explain to someone that you're not okay? How do you explain to them that something is wrong? Something is wrong in your head. It is for this reason a person who is struggling, a person who is suffering, chooses to do so in silence. I just wish one day we can have a support structure in which we don't have to do anything extravagant. All we have to do is listen. All we have to do is put our arms around that person and say, "Are you okay? If you're not, I've got you." We are constantly surrounded by people around us and we speak sense at times, we speak nonsense at times, but how often do we actually listen with an intent to understand? All I'm asking is to practice empathy in your everyday life, not judge a person because every person is going through their own storms. Look around you, look around the people in this room right now. I see so many hopes and dreams. I see so many amazing friendships. I see such a tight bond. I see such a lot of camaraderie. Why can we not share this experience everywhere I go? Back to the story of Kevin. It was nothing short of a miracle that he actually survived his fall from the Golden Gate Bridge. And whenever he's asked to recall of his incident, there's only one emotion that comes to his mind. That's instant regret. The moment he leapt off the bridge, he knew he had made a big mistake, and a mistake that could not have been reversed. It took him 4 seconds to fall from the top of the bridge to the edge of the water. But to him, it felt like an eternity. To him, all he wanted was a second chance. All he wanted was to sit down with his family and have a dish of pancakes that he hated so much. The impact with the water broke Kevin's back. He was fully clothed from head to toe. That made it nearly impossible for him to swim. But something was different the moment he hit the water. His will to live had never been higher. He scratched and he clawed, and somehow he managed to stay afloat long enough for Coast Guard to rescue him. Moral of the story is, friends, we will all go through a phase in life where things will not go our way. But we must realize, we must understand that life is under no obligation to give us what we want or what we deserve. Life in itself is a gift. Why judge yourself against somebody else? Why compare your life with somebody else? Life is too short to pursue somebody else's idea of perfection. Life is too short to follow every societal rules. Why don't you live life your own way and tread a path that has never been followed? You know, it's so simple. Just ignore the negativity around you and just adopt positivity. Adopt that positive feeling. That's all I ask you. I want you to show empathy towards people around you, and I'll conclude this speech by a quote which is very close. It says, "Change the way you look at things and the world will change the way it looks at you." Thank you. Back to you.